Today, we're talking about one of the most iconic, and let's be real, sometimes wild figures in the music industry, Diddy. But with all the fame and fortune, Diddy's also been at the center of some serious drama over the years. Feuds, legal issues, and some eyebrow-raising moments have kept him in the spotlight for reasons that go way beyond music. We're going to explore a question many people wonder. Did P. Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, influence the behavior that led to some of his controversial moments? Let's peel back the layers and take a close look at Diddy's life, his relationship with his mother, and how that might have shaped the icon we know today. P. Diddy's background, the early years. Let's start by painting a picture of Diddy's early life. Sean Combs was born in Harlem, New York, but his story really starts in the middle-class neighborhood of Mount Vernon, where he was raised after his father, Melvin Combs, was killed in a drug-related shooting when Diddy was just 3 years old. His mother, Janice Combs, was left to raise Diddy and his siblings alone, and this is where the narrative gets interesting. By all accounts, Janice was a strong, independent woman. She worked hard to give her kids a good life, working as a model and a teacher's assistant. But raising a child, especially a boy in the absence of a father figure, can be challenging. And this dynamic between mother and son is critical to understanding who Diddy became. It's widely acknowledged that Janice was the backbone of the family, keeping everything together. But she wasn't just an ordinary mom. She had a lot of flair, a sense of glamour, and a tough love approach. Growing up with that type of influence certainly had an impact on Diddy's mindset, work ethic, and perhaps even some of his later controversies. The Motherson Bond. Diddy's relationship with his mother is an interesting one because, in many ways, he idolized her. In interviews, he has often credited Janice with shaping his resilience and ambition. She made sure he stayed on the right path in his formative years, and she was known for being very protective of him. Now, what's fascinating is that this protective nature could have contributed to Diddy's unapologetic confidence. After all, he grew up knowing that his mother had his back no matter what. That kind of assurance can fuel someone's belief in themselves, sometimes to a point where they feel invincible. It's worth noting that Diddy has often said his mother was his biggest role model, his hero, and this admiration might have led to some of the bolder choices he's made in life. For better or worse, her drive and no-nonsense attitude toward survival in a tough world may have also translated into the ultra-competitive, sometimes cutthroat persona Diddy has been known for in the entertainment industry. Janice's influence on Diddy's ambition. You can't talk about Diddy without mentioning his incredible drive. From his early days as an intern at Uptown Records to becoming the founder of Bad Boy Records, his relentless ambition is the stuff of legend. And who does he credit for instilling that fire in him? His mother, of course. Janice Combs didn't just raise a son. She raised an empire builder. But let's consider this. With the relentless pursuit of success comes pressure, and with pressure comes a certain mindset. Some would argue that this drive for greatness could make someone more prone to controversial behavior. Diddy has often been at the center of media storms, whether it's his infamous feud with Death Row Records or legal troubles involving nightclub shootings. The question is, did the ambition his mother encouraged also lead to an attitude where the ends justify the means? There's a thin line between ambition and arrogance, and at times, it seems Diddy may have crossed it. And this relentless need to win could be traced back to a mother who taught him to survive, no matter what it took. The role of absent father figures. Diddy has spoken about his father, Melvin Combs, who was killed in 1972. While he was absent for most of Diddy's life, the shadow of that loss loomed large. Without a father figure, Diddy turned to his mother as his primary role model. Janice had to be both mother and father, a task she seemingly handled with strength and grace. But some psychologists suggest that growing up without a father can influence a boy's behavior, especially when it comes to risk-taking and forming relationships. Could Diddy's absent father have contributed to the more controversial aspects of his personality? Maybe, but it's also possible that Janice, as both mom and dad, pushed him to be even more of a risk-taker, a trait that has both defined and complicated his career. The price of fame and power. Here's where things get really complex. Diddy's behavior is often seen through the lens of someone who has immense power and influence. And as we know, power can sometimes breed controversy. One of the biggest controversies surrounding Diddy involved the tragic death of his artist, the notorious B.I.G. There's no denying that this loss was a seismic event in Diddy's life and career. Some have questioned his role in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, wondering whether his drive for success and power may have inadvertently contributed to the escalation of tensions. If we look at Janice's influence here, you could argue that Diddy's intense need to be the best to prove himself was something he learned early on. Janice, after all, was a single mother who had to claw her way to success. Could Diddy's ambition have blinded him to some of the dangerous dynamics playing out around him? Perhaps. In many ways, it's a classic tale of power. The higher you climb, the more at risk you are of losing your footing. Diddy's journey from the streets of Harlem to the pinnacle of hip-hop was paved with bold moves, and sometimes those moves sparked controversy. Was Janice to blame? Let's get real here. Can we really say that Janice Combs caused Diddy's controversial behavior? That's a stretch, but it's impossible to ignore her influence in shaping the man he became. Mothers are often the biggest influence on their sons, and in Diddy's case, Janice was both his biggest supporter and his role model. But here's the thing, Diddy is his own man. He's made choices, good and bad. And while his mother's influence is undeniable, he's ultimately responsible for his actions. The verdict. Janice Combs raised a boy who would go on to become one of the most powerful and influential figures in music. Her strength, her hustle, her resilience, they're all in Diddy's DNA. And while that drive has led him to greatness, it may have also contributed to some of the controversies that have followed him throughout his career. So, can we say Janice Combs directly caused Diddy's controversial behavior? No. But she certainly helped shape the man who would navigate his way through both triumphs and scandals. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and press that like button. Also, hit the bell icon so you could never miss new updates from us. Thank you for watching, and we will meet you in the next one.